Today is actually my last day of a week-long vacation that I took. I'm on vacation today. However, I did come in because I have a very nice vehicle that I'm delivering that I ordered over a year ago, so I didn't want to miss it. We got it all scheduled up. I'm heading over there now, and we're gonna get this beautiful torch red 2023 Z51 Corvette C8 on the road. What's up, YouTube? I am back. Now, I was gone for 2 weeks and I got comments about not being here, not posting videos, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate people looking for my content. Now, the question is, where was I? Well, for the first week, I was here at the dealership. We were just very busy. We had a very busy end of September, combined with customers coming in and also being short-handed. At some points, it was just myself and Crazy Eddie here on the showroom floor. And that's basically because we have a employee on leave. We had last week or 2 weeks ago, an employee was sick. You know, Dave Freeman's always here to fill in.
Why not?
You know, we're down to 4 salespeople is what I'm trying to say. We had someone actually leave the company as of yesterday. So we have Dave Freeman, we have Ed, we have Drew, and we have myself right now as salespeople here at the store. So
Call this opportunity, boys.
it is opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to sell more cars just by sheer fact that there are less salespeople to sell them. So that was basically about 2 weeks ago. And then last week I was on vacation. I was upstate New York. I ran a marathon. You know, I always believe in going the extra mile for my customers. And I also go the extra mile for myself. Fitness is very, very important to me. Eating right, drinking water, little to no alcohol, that sort of stuff helps me maintain my, my state of mind. So we're basically back now for dealership life. I want to take a quick lot walk just to see what we have, because I haven't been here for a week. So we got some Trailblazers still. Looks like we got Malibu and Equinox Blazers. We got a decent little supply here. Same pickup trucks that have been here. I have a 2500 HD. This is actually one of my 2500 factory orders. I have a local university that ordered 2 of these from me. This one showed up and is here. The other one we never even got allocation for yet. It's been months. But this is just your basic double cab 2500 work truck. So now that I know this is here, we'll get that ready for delivery for maybe Monday or Tuesday during the week. Today's actually Saturday. Yesterday, I delivered the Corvette that you saw earlier. That was on Friday. This morning, I had a customer come up. Tony, thank you very much for your business. Follows me on YouTube, picked up this Bolt this morning. That's a Bolt 2023 Bolt EUV LT model. Speaking of Chevrolet Bolts, I went ahead and I did purchase the little tray that fits inside the center console of the 2022 Bolt EV and EUV. Now, for Bolt owners, I'll put the link down below. It's on Amazon. I bought this, I paid for it, it works. Now, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna notch out these 2 sections, a little section here and a little section here. If you notch those out, now I did that with a simple knife. You can use a knife, you can use a hacksaw, you can use a Dremel tool, whatever you can to notch that section out. What that does is that frees up this little piece of rubber that's on each side. It gives it room to fit. In the reviews for this, it showed that it was very hard for this door to close when you put the tray in. I completely agree. It doesn't matter which one you get. There's 2 different links, 2 different products. I bought the second product that was recommended to me because it doesn't have this problem. Still had the problem. The rubber, these little rubber feet here can't fit inside here. When they do, you really got to jam this down. When you really jam this down, when you lifted it up, it brought the tray with it because the rubber was compressed against the plastic. So if you pick this up, again, small little modification and it'll work just fine. You have a nice little addition to your Chevrolet Bolt. We just sold a Chevrolet Bolt. Speaking of bolts, we were talking about the Bolt and the little tray. A customer came in, just asked if we had one to drive. Unfortunately, we don't have one to drive, but we have mine to show, and we have a new one here that somebody didn't pick up yet. So I was able to show him a car. Here he knew what he wanted. Super easy, piece of cake, put a deal together. I don't know, 5-6 months, he'll have a car. I'm just gonna get everything I need to get together for this folder, hand it into the office, and then we're gonna explain, and I'm gonna go over this little spreadsheet that I made here. We're back in my 2022 Chevrolet Bolt EUV. I currently have it charged in. I'm getting my juice for the day. Now, I want to sit in here and film this because I want to go over just some of the things I took record of or notice to when I took this trip from this dealership to Corning, New York, where I stayed at a Hilton for the marathon that I ran last week. Now, I have some pictures here, and I'm going to try to make some sense out of this as far as the range I got versus what the car was saying I would get along the way. So I got some pictures to go along with this. I took some notes. Let me see if I can make any sense out of it. First picture you're looking at here is a picture of the display. Look on the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see that the car had 1,840 miles on it. That was when I was leaving the dealership to drive out to Pennsylvania to my first stop. So the first leg of the trip, as you can see in the second photo here, was 64 miles away. It was estimated it would take an hour and 17 minutes to drive the first 64 miles. Now, when we go back to the original photo, you'll notice that on the range estimator there in the middle, not the max, not the minimum, the middle range was about 279. That's what the car was estimated to be able to get based on me driving and achieving 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour over the first 1,828 miles that I've been driving this car since I bought it. We left New Jersey, we drove out to PA. When we got to PA, we got off the exit we were getting off of. You'll notice here, I still had about 7 minutes or maybe like 4 to 5 miles of driving left. But we now had a estimated middle range of 222 miles. Now, I still had about 5 to 6 miles to get to the actual house, right? So when we woke up the next morning and we were leaving for our second leg of the trip, which was from Pennsylvania to Corning, New York, you'll notice here on the information display, bottom left-hand corner, I have 1,906 miles on the car. We have an estimated range of 217 miles in that middle calculation there. So from 1840, where we started, to 1906, where we are now, that's 66 miles of driving. If you remember, when we left, we were at 279 miles estimated range, and we're now at 217, which is 62 miles. So technically, the first leg of this trip, the first 66 miles, we were plus 4 miles. We got 4 miles farther than the car was estimating we would. Does that make any sense? Now, one thing I didn't do was I didn't plug the car in overnight, and I could have. I arrived to the house in Pennsylvania around 8 o'clock at night. We didn't leave until about 11 o'clock in the morning the next day. So that would have been about 16 hours of charging. At 4 miles for every hour plugged into a regular 110 outlet right in the garage, I would have got about 64 miles of range in that amount of time. Now, we used 62 miles of range driving out there. So technically, if I plugged the car in overnight, I could have topped that car off right back to a full battery before I left for New York. I decided not to do that. I just kept the car parked outside, and in the morning we left again with 1,906 miles on the car, estimated range of 217 miles, with, as you can see here, a 3-hour, 155-mile drive from Pennsylvania to Corning, New York. Now, when we left, you know, we hopped on Route 80, this other road called 380, to Route 81, I believe. A lot of uphills, a lot of uphill climbs at 65, 70 miles an hour. So there were times that when you looked at this gauge, which you can't see right now, but where this gray is a little trending bar. And sometimes that trending bar will light up yellow towards the bottom, meaning you're getting more towards the minimum value, or it will light up to the top where you're getting the maximum value. If you don't see it at all, you're in the middle. You know, so that trending bar is going to show you where you're headed based on your current driving. I knew that as we climbed up those mountains and those hills, eventually we were going to get into downhills where we're going to go into valleys and we're going to go up and down the whole way, which sort of levels out how much battery or how much range you're getting out of the vehicle. The next screenshot you're going to see here, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, we are at 207 miles. So we drove 101 miles of the original 155 for our journey. We stopped at a grocery store, used the restrooms, got some snacks, things of that nature. You'll also notice that the range now is at 98. Now, we were at 217 when we left. We drove 101 miles, but if we take 217 and we subtract 98, we used 119 miles worth of range. So we lost, in a sense, 18 miles of estimated range based on the terrain we were driving in. A lot of those uphills, a lot of those climbs, and a lot of the highway speed. At that point, I took a shot of the last 56 miles that we were going to have to drive to get from that supermarket to our destination, which is what you see there, 56 miles. Now, when we arrived at our location, you'll look at this screen here and you'll see that we still have 29 miles left of range. The range indicator went from green to orange. It was going to, start giving us those warnings that we were going to have to charge. And we now have 2,062 miles on the car. So if I look at my cheat sheet here, we went from 1,840 miles to 2,062. That's 222 miles. Our range estimate went from 279 miles down to 29 miles, which means we used 250 miles of estimated range, which is, what is that? That's 32 plus 4 minus 28, 32 overall. Minus 28 overall. All right, so on the first part of this journey, we actually were positive mileage range over miles driven. On the second part of the trip, we were negative range versus miles driven. Overall, it looks like we were negative 28 miles. So where we drove 222 actual physical miles, we actually used 250 miles worth of range. It's like this makes sense to me, but it doesn't at the same time. Like I'm questioning, does any of this make sense? What are your thoughts?